good thing going on now, right? There's one good thing that has come out from the current age we live in, and that's Vivek Ramaswamy, right? Vivek Ramaswamy I like a lot. So he's been just doing fan-freaking-tastically, right? I mean, look, look, he seems like he's running for president, right? But I think he knows that if Trump is knocked out by some cheating, which I don't think he's going to be, right? But I think if Trump is knocked out, I think his support will switch to Vivek, right? And this is the reason why, right? Look at him handle this like a boss. Okay, quick insert. The reason I got on this Vivek tear of late was a few days earlier, right? I saw a clip of him just being awesome. So I'm going to put that in as well, which was from my stream a few days before this. And then we'll go back into more examples of Vivek being freaking awesome. Why? Because Vivek Ramaswamy is freaking awesome. Well, I don't know if he's going to end up being president. I would like him to be. I still like Trump, right? Trump's my man. But Vivek Ramaswamy, let's watch him be awesome.
You condemn white supremacy.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion.
So if you didn't hear, she was asking him to, can you condemn white supremacy? Like, excuse me, racial violence is mainly against white people now.
Of modern wokeism, which absolutely fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. The reality is, I condemn vicious racial discrimination in this country, but
I mean, honestly, Peter Rich says he doesn't like Trump, but he thinks America needs Trump. I tend to agree with you. But I just like that this guy, like if Trump gets knocked out, if he gets killed, whatever, Vivek's the man, I'm telling you.
Kind of vicious and systematic,
I mean, God forbid that would happen.
Racial discrimination we see today is discrimination on the basis of race in a very different direction. You want to know what the best way is to end discrimination on the basis of race? Stop discriminating on the basis of race. Do that, and we're going to move this
probably a good idea, right? Again, everything he says is right.
Country forward, and I don't care whether you're black or white or brown or anything in between. That's how we're going to unite this country. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point.
Talking about the media, I 100% agree.
Creating a projection of national division. I meet people from the south side of Chicago to meetings like this one of every shade of melanin, multiple, from man to woman, doesn't make a difference, who are hungry for reviving unity in this country. And you, with your catechism that you try to get to politicians to whatever fake headline you're going to print on the basis of this conversation tomorrow, that's what's dividing this country to a breaking point. Shame on you. Look people in the eye and tell them what you've actually failed to tell them for the last 5 years. Own the accountability for your own failures as the media.
They will never do that.
That's how we rebuild trust in this country. And until then, I don't have a lot of patience to play the games.
What do you expect from?
Oh, awesome. Right, awesome. Absolutely incredible.
January 6th.
Sure.
There is no evidence that it is an inside job.
100% wrong. 100%. Again, I don't know how do you get this? There's no evidence into it. The footage clearly shows that they were, the Capitol Police opened the doors and waved them in, took selfies. Also, the riot, apparently, which the footage tells you, is video footage. You see people shouting and screaming, being violent, but you don't see the minute before that when they fired tear gas and rubber bullets into the crowd for no provocation, right? Other than to get that angry reaction. It was
a fringe conspiracy theory that the Trump-appointed FBI director, Christopher Wray,
I love that. I love the thing they hold. They grab their polls and go, Trump appointed. Oh, Trump appointed. They're all corrupt fucks.
As said explicitly over and over, is just not true.
So,
okay, so go for it, Vivek.
I appreciate the opportunity to address it. I was an anti-woke crusader leaving the business world, and if you had asked me 3 years ago, is there some chance January 6th is an inside job, I would have said that was crazy talk. I would say, looking at the facts of the video footage that have come out, Dana, it is shocking that you still haven't gotten a clear answer of how many federal agents were in the field that day. Look at now the video footage of actually throwing explosives and rubber bullets into what was a peaceful crowd, then releasing to the public what came in response to that. But now look at the video footage that was released. And
again, look at her unable to answer her on any of his points, right? Deflect.
I'm glad we're talking about it because viewers deserve to look at that footage. Capitol Police literally letting people in who were then now prosecuted. Some of them have gone on to commit suicide because of what the government's doing.
The treatment of the J6s has been, I think, it's as dark as the Reds Under the Bed thing with in the 50s. It really is that dark.
That is a case of entrapment. And I think the government has not been transparent about this, which is why I then brought up another case where the government, now 20 years later, with declassified documents, tells us that they lied to us at the time. And so I do think we have a government that's consistently lied to its people.
But an inside job suggests that everybody who attacked the Capitol was part of
that.
No, again, idiot straw man arguments he's putting up.
I didn't say that, but I was saying that there's entrapment going on. There's entrapment going on, and this looks like a case of entrapment. And if you look at even over the last day.
What do you mean by entrapment?
Entrapment means that the police goaded people to do something than they otherwise wouldn't have done, and then they arrest them for actually doing it.
Exactly the same as the Gretchen Whitmore abduction plot.
And you don't think it was actually the former president who was trying to get people?
I think that was the media narrative. Now look at actually
we heard him with our own.
No, you didn't. And you suppressed him saying protest peacefully and patriotically. When did you hear him? What did he say? Riot! Take it over! Fight like hell! I know. Like, what did he say?
Think about a case and see what you think about this, right? You guys said this for a long time about the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. Suddenly gone silent after it comes out at trial that absolutely that was a case of entrapment, which is why 2 of those people were acquitted. So I'm saying this as somebody who, on the other side of this, as a biotech CEO, somebody who was even anti-woke, but if I was looking at this, I would have said a lot of this is crazy.
Unfortunately, what's her name? Dana, whatever. Is it Dana Bash? I don't know what her name is too stupid to be able to stop it.
Crazy talk. But if you actually get into the details, I think it is startling how much the government has systematically lied. And I think it's both parties over the course of the last 25 years.
But on the
left used to be better at pointing this out and being skeptical of the government, but now it's the right.
Which is the most aggressive, offensive attack on the U.S. Capitol.
No, I think you'll find it was much worse on May 29th when it was Democrats when the president has to be taken to a bunker, right? And they were nearly burnt down a historic church. That was definitely a much more aggressive attack. Also, you got all Chaz, you got the Summer of Love, you got Black Lives Matter riots.
Democracy itself that we have seen in our lifetime. And
guarantee you this, right? I guarantee you this. If Trump wins the election, I think they're going to try every way to make him cheat. Try every way to cheat, to keep him off the ballot, to stop him something or other, but I think he's going to win. They will have a military coup to stop the inauguration, and I'll say we're saving democracy by stopping you have your stupid choice.
Many, many lifetimes to say without evidence that it was an inside.
It's got a plethora of evidence. Again, she just has to keep saying the idiot talking points. Again, she's speaking to dumb Karens. Essentially,
seeing it without evidence. I think that what we're seeing now is the video footage that's come out. I was in a different place before a lot of that evidence came out, but you have to respond to the evidence. What is your response, or what is anybody else on CNN's response to the video footage that was released of Capitol Police literally just peacefully allowing people into the Capitol?
What we know
or
is
shooting
that
into peaceful crowds.
850 people have been convicted of crimes.
But the reality.
So why aren't you answering the question? If you're so right, why aren't you answering the question?
The reality is many of them were convicted before that information was released.
And do you think that former President Trump has anything to do with this?
No, because you're bringing up a really good point, and your audience and everybody deserves to know the truth about this. Normally, there's a rule in constitutional law. It's called the Brady Rule. You have to turn over exculpatory evidence to the other side. In this case, it wasn't turned over because the DOJ said Congress was sitting on it.
Yeah, look, Vivek's awesome. I honestly... I love Trump. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of gratitude to Trump. Firstly, we had the best economy of our lives and world peace. That was very good. He was very good to Israel. He moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. They all lied and said, "Oh, we'll do it," and nobody else did. Right? He released this guy called Rabushkin. Right, and that's why I will always have his back. And I think he's going to win. But if he gets knocked out in any way, shape, or form, right? His support will shift to Vivek, and boy, would he be an awesome president. I really like him, right? I really, really, really like him. More Vivek, please. More Vivek. Actually, do I have that other clip? There was another clip of him being equally awesome. Let me have a look. Hang on. Bookmarks. Not that one. Oh, yeah. Again, this is another like. I'm on the wrong thing. Like again, time after time after time of him just being insanely awesome. Let me just grab this. And again, I love that he's doing this on CNN. Because here's the thing, I think he could probably win over the left-wing normie crowd, right? I think he could probably do that quite well. And Twitter video downloader. We'll try that again. Doink. Because again, he talks like one of these lefty normies, which is quite a good feat. So here, we'll watch this one more bit. Because again, he's a delight to watch. He really freaking is a delight to watch.
Something that you said at the debate last week, you used the phrase inside job to describe what happened on January 6th. The next day, Capitol rioter Alan Hosteler.
Okay, and I have to tell you, these what they've done to get these convictions is disgusting, right? They SWAT raided elderly people in the middle of the night, dragged them into police cells, right? Kept them in solitary confinement, removed any of their constitutional protective rights, right? And they said, look, well, this can all go away. Just denounce Trump. Just denounce Trump, and we'll make. And basically, this has been a reign of terror to make sure that to make sure to not just knock out Trump, but to knock out the idea that the common people have a say.
Highlighted your comments at his sentencing. He is going to prison for 11 years.
Which is ridiculous.
Hosteler threatened members of Congress. He brought a hatchet, knives, pepper spray, stun batons, tactical gear to the U.S. Capitol. Are you concerned that a convicted felon like that is now promoting your comments in court?
So here's my concern, Abby, and I want to tell you guys where I'm at. If you had told me it's close to 3 years ago that
he does get his patted down quite well.
January 6, 2021 happened. If you had told me 3 years ago, back when I was a biotech CEO, not steeped in this world, I was just consuming passive media, but was focused on my world of developing medicines. If you had told me that January 6 was in any way an inside job, the subject of government entrapment, I would have told you that was crazy talk. Fringe conspiracy theory nonsense.
Yeah, was it Colin Archer? You're talking about General Milley, right? Who should be executed for treason, frankly.
I can tell you now, having gone somewhat deep in this, it's not. I mean, the reality is this. We do have a government, first of all, we have to acknowledge, that has lied to us systematically over the last several years about the origin of COVID-19, about the Hunter Biden laptop that we were told was false by 51 CIA experts and otherwise before we now know that.
They should all be in jail. Every single one of them should be in jail. 11 years, they should get 50 years each.
It was true. You can go straight down the list, the Trump-Russia disinformation collusion hoax, all of it. Now we come to January 6th. The reality is we know that there were federal law enforcement agents in that field. We don't know how many. I think it's shameful. If I may finish just answering.
Well, let me
this is really important.
I'm going to go ahead and interrupt you here because
I know the establishment doesn't approve of this message. I know
there were federal
we should be able to talk about this.
You're saying that there were federal agents.
This is important to talk about.
You are saying
I love the crowd siding with him.
Federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
Yep.
There is no evidence that there were federal agents in the
Oh, really? Really? No evidence. Let's hear what Vivek has to say.
Crowd on January 6th.
So why, before Congress, when pressed on what the number was, they didn't say there were none. They just couldn't say how many there were.
So you're saying that that you have not seen any evidence
so
that
we've
there
seen
were,
we've seen multiple informants suggesting that there were. We know people were FBI informants who were asked to
Is there any evidence?
May I just finish this and you can come back to question me?
Well, let me clarify.
I know it's very uncomfortable for you.
I'm going to clarify my question.
I know this is an uncomfortable issue for many people, but we have to do the truth here.
I'm going to clarify my question because I want to make sure that you understand.
she's clearly smarter than the blonde woman just now.
I understand this deeply. And I told you, I was with you 3 years ago. I'm not there now.
Where is the evidence?
Yes.
Where is the evidence that the government had a plot,
let's do this.
an inside job,
but no, I'm going to tell you what an inside job is, because I'm not
violence on January 6th.
I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth. I'm going to put my words in my mouth. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that.
Where is the evidence?
She will not let him speak.
The government was involved in planning or executing January 6th.
So I'm going to give you hard facts. And if I may, Abby, I know this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but we're going to go through this, and you can push back on it after that. And you can push back on that. And let's do this fairly. Why did they suppress footage of now what's been released? 200 hours of footage of shooting rubber bullets into that crowd, shooting tear gas into that crowd. You didn't see that before. You saw what the response was to that. Now you see.
Why did they do? That's a pretty good question. Can you answer that?
Footage coming out of actually rolling out the red carpet for Capitol Police allowing people in.
Again.
Right?
Mr. Ramaswamy, I've got to stop you speaking because our viewers might hear the truth.
Through the front door.
The vast majority of the footage.
Video evidence should have been released before, Abby.
Mr. Ramaswamy, the vast majority of the footage shows police officers being overrun.
And I want to talk about one more.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're lying.
By violent
really important.
riders. That's
I'm going to give you some hard facts.
Of it shows.
So here's what entrapment is.
Cherry pick.
I'm not cherry picking. If I may finish, Abby. I'm not cherry picking.
Examples.
To the contrary. To the contrary.
You know who cherry picked examples?
You know who cherry picked? The government.
That is what happened.
The government cherry picked 12 hours of footage when there was 200 hours of footage. So cherry picking was the government, not me. Release the whole thing. And let me just finish one thing too, because this is super important as a topic.
So I
think there's a civil liberty.
Like I watch out in the crowd, I'll be like screaming, "Let him speak! Let him speak!" Why are you scared to let him speak?
An issue of our time. Gretchen Whitmer's kidnapping. I want to be really clear on this, because it's the same issue in the same FBI, same even part of the FBI. 3 people who were in an alleged plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer were acquitted at the end of trial because it was entrapment. That is, government agents put them up to do something they otherwise wouldn't have done. They gave them
same government agents in charge of January 6th security.
Credit cards with spending limits of up to $5,000, encouraged them to buy munitions, plan something they weren't otherwise willing to plan. So much so, and I want people at home to know this, especially CNN viewers to know this, is that one of the jurors went to those defendants and apologized afterwards, gave him a hug, apologized, seeing what the government had put a poor guy up to who had to go to some Mexican restaurant across the street to get hot water. These people were exploited with credit cards up to $5,000, FBI agents putting them up to a kidnapping plot that we were told was true but was entrapment.
And by good for you, Vivek, for not stopping, right? You plowed through eventually.
Same thing with the Capitol Police. People letting them in freely. Many of those people then being charged.
Ramaswamy, look,
the government cannot put you up to do something and then charge you for it. That's wrong.
I don't want to have
to the left or the right.
I don't want to have to interrupt you. I really
No, you do. You don't want him to speak.
I really don't. But I don't want you to mislead the audience here or
at home. I think they've been misled by the mainstream media.
So I love Vivek, mate. I love me a bit of Vivek. I think, again, he is the best thing to come out of 2023. 100%. Again, I like Trump. I like life like that. I think the only bad thing about life under Trump was the idiot screaming all the time, right? That was the only, but everything else was awesome, right? Everything. And imagine how much better it would have been without there being ongoing coups from the intelligence services. Oh my God, our lives would have been so great, right? So great. So yeah, I'm a Trumpster, right? Anything happens to Trump is going to Vivek. And I like the idea of there being somebody younger to lead America, to lead the world, basically, right? I think all these old people need to get out of the freaking way. Genuinely, I do. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.